support in Indian Wells. Look at this. I mean, this was in Australia. Court 6 literally had a line. I know I'm exaggerating, but it went for miles at the Aussie. It was wild scenes there. Allie, can you remember a women's star who gets this type of support wherever she goes?
Yeah, well, Taylor Swift? I mean...
Yeah, for sure.
A few years ago, almost nobody outside hardcore tennis circles knew the name Eala. But today that name is creating conversations across the entire sports world. And the reason is far bigger than rankings, trophies, or statistics, because what is happening around this young player feels less like the rise of a tennis prospect and more like the birth of a global phenomenon. Every generation produces talented athletes. Every year, new stars arrive. And every tournament introduces fresh faces. But only a few athletes create a feeling that something special is happening before the biggest achievements even arrive. And that is exactly where Eala finds herself right now. The tennis world is suddenly facing a reality that nobody expected. A player who is still building her career is attracting attention levels that many established champions would envy. Crowds follow her everywhere. Social media explodes whenever she wins. Interviews become major events, and fans treat her appearances like must-watch television. The most remarkable part is that none of this was guaranteed. The path from junior champion to professional success is one of the most difficult journeys in sports. For every junior star who becomes a household name, dozens disappear under the weight of expectations, pressure, injuries, confidence struggles, and the brutal reality of competing against the best players on earth every single week. Yet Eala refused to disappear. She kept working, kept improving, kept believing, and slowly began turning potential into results. What makes her story even more powerful is that she is carrying the hopes of millions of people who see themselves in her journey. They see a young athlete from the Philippines stepping onto courts traditionally dominated by players from established tennis nations and refusing to act like she belongs anywhere except the top. That confidence resonates with fans because confidence backed by hard work creates belief, and belief is one of the strongest forces in sports. Fans do not simply watch Eala because she wins matches. They watch because she represents possibility. She represents the idea that greatness can come from places the tennis establishment rarely expects. She represents the dream that barriers exist to be broken. She represents a generation that refuses to accept limits placed upon it by history. That emotional connection has transformed her from a tennis player into something larger. Every victory feels personal for her supporters. Every comeback feels inspiring. Every challenge feels like a test being taken alongside millions of people watching around the world. The atmosphere surrounding her matches often feels different from a normal tennis crowd. There is an energy, a passion, and an excitement that resembles a major sporting event rather than a routine tournament match. People are not just showing up to watch tennis. They are showing up to witness a story unfold in real time. The reason experts continue discussing her is because they understand that influence cannot always be measured by rankings alone. Rankings tell you who is winning matches. Influence tells you who is capturing attention. Influence tells you who is changing conversations. Influence tells you who makes people care. In today's sports world, attention is one of the most valuable currencies that exists, and Eala is generating enormous amounts of it. Every major sporting organization dreams of discovering athletes who can attract new audiences, energize existing fans, and create emotional investment. Eala is doing all three at once. Young fans connect with her personality, experienced tennis fans respect her talent, and casual viewers become curious about the excitement surrounding her rise. That combination is extremely rare. Most athletes appeal strongly to one audience. The truly special ones connect with multiple audiences simultaneously. This is why so many analysts believe her ceiling remains incredibly high. She is only beginning to discover her full potential as a player while already demonstrating the ability to command attention on a global scale. Imagine what happens if her ranking continues climbing. Imagine what happens if she reaches Grand Slam semifinals.
Oh, I'd have to say maybe a little bit of Sonia Mirza. Back in her heyday, obviously the Indian fans took to her and They followed her all around the globe, obviously not to this extent. And I think the ceiling that Alex Eala has is obviously that much higher. And I'm going to bring in a little boxing here because my dad wanted me to be a boxer, but I chose tennis. But Manny Pacquiao.
Good call.
Manny Pacquiao, we saw him when he, was at the top of his game. And alongside Roger Federer, he actually had more prize money. So I think that if Eala, can keep doing well with her tennis, who knows? The sky's the limit on the court, off the court. I mean, she could be rolling in it, if you will.
Imagine what happens if she starts competing for major titles. The excitement surrounding her would grow exponentially. The attention would become impossible to ignore. Sponsors, broadcasters, tournament directors, and media organizations all understand this possibility, which is why interest in her continues increasing with every passing month. The fascinating part is that none of this feels artificial. Fans can recognize when hype is manufactured. They can recognize when a story is being forced upon them. The support surrounding Alex Eala feels authentic because it has developed naturally through years of hard work, perseverance, and visible growth. People have watched her improve. They have watched her overcome obstacles. They have watched her continue moving forward despite challenges. That journey creates loyalty, and loyalty creates movements. Sports history is filled with athletes who became symbols for entire nations and generations. They inspired people not just because of what they achieved, but because of what they represented. Alex Eala is beginning to enter that territory. Children see her and believe they can chase impossible dreams. Parents see her and admire the discipline required to compete at the highest level. Fans see her and feel pride. Opponents see her and recognize a player capable of causing serious problems. Experts see her and recognize potential that continues expanding. All of these perspectives combine to create something powerful. The future remains unwritten, which is what makes this story so exciting. Nobody knows exactly how far Alex Eala can go. Nobody knows how many titles she will win. Nobody knows how high she will climb. But the uncertainty is part of the attraction because every tournament feels like another chapter in a larger story.
Upper room too, and I remember last year when she beat Iga Swiatek, and she kind of did it with a lot of grace and humility, and it was really, for me, it was terrific to see her take that match and watch her play after that and watch her try to continue to progress, because I like her game. Obviously she wants to get better than where she is now, than 32 in the world, but she's got a lot of good hand-eye coordination and ability to take the ball early and redirect. But the fan stuff is always fun for me, because whenever you see players from smaller countries, the fans are so passionate when they get up to the top.
It's interesting, Ali mentioned Sonia Mirza. She has nearly 13 million followers on Instagram. That's 5 million more than Carlos Alcaraz, and nearly as many as Alcaraz and Sabalenka combined. So that's how big Sonia Mirza is, was, and will be. But Eala going to be seeded for the first time at a 1,000 to find out who she will play in the second round.
Every match becomes an opportunity for something memorable to happen. Every victory adds momentum to a movement that already feels larger than anyone could have imagined just a few years ago. The tennis world loves stories of unexpected rise, but even within that tradition, there is something unique about this one. The scale of support, the level of engagement, the emotional investment, and the speed at which her influence has expanded make her stand out from the crowd. She is not simply participating in the sport. She is helping shape conversations around it. She is bringing new audiences into it. She is creating moments that people remember. As her journey continues, the spotlight will become brighter, the expectations will become heavier, and the pressure will become greater. That is the price of relevance. That is the cost of becoming one of the most talked about athletes in your sport. But so far, every challenge has seemed to make her stronger. Every obstacle has become another opportunity. Every doubt has become motivation. That resilience may ultimately become one of her greatest strengths, because talent can open doors, but resilience determines how far someone travels once those doors open. Right now, the world is watching closely because it feels like something important is happening. It feels like tennis may be witnessing the early stages of a career that could become truly historic. It feels like fans are discovering a player capable of inspiring a generation. It feels like a movement is gaining momentum. And if the current trajectory continues, if the improvements continue, if the victories continue, then the conversations happening today about Eala being one of the biggest attractions in tennis may eventually seem far too small compared to what comes next. Because the most exciting possibility is that the story everyone is talking about right now might still be only the beginning.